Giants have the Rams in Week 17. The Rams are 8-7, hold sole possession of the 6th seed in the NFL playoffs right now. They're on a 2-game winning streak. However, just 3-4 on the road this season. They'll be traveling to the 5-10 New York Giants. Rams lead the all-time series 29-17 and have won the last 3 meetings. The Giants have not won against the Rams since 2016. Sam, if you remember the play where Odell Beckham got into it with Alec Ogletree in that game where helmets went off, there was a brawl on the sideline. That was the McAdoo playoff year. So,
Oof.
Fun times. Cringe.
Yeah, we don't need to revisit that.
No, we don't. But unfortunately, we have to revisit that our offense is still ranked dead last in the National Football League. The Rams are ranked number 8, and a lot of it is due to Matt Stafford and his performance this season. I think he's done a phenomenal job. He's missed Cooper Kupp a lot throughout the course of the season. His left tackle has been a revolving door. Alaric Jackson, 25-year-old player, young guy, opposite of Rob Havenstein. I think those 2 tackles have done a decent job, and I think Sam's sliding into keys of the game here. Just overall, what are your thoughts? I think realistically, they have to pressure Stafford. In fantasy football perspective, he's been a top 10 quarterback the last 3 to 4 weeks, and part of the reason why the Rams have won 5 out of their last 6.
Yeah, Matt Stafford, I think people are really underestimating him this year. Obviously, he is an older quarterback, but the guy's got a Super Bowl under his belt now. The Rams, in and of itself, I think were kind of undermined this year, but they still have Stafford. They have Cooper Kupp. They have that guy Higbee. They obviously have Puka Nacua, who was a huge rookie steal for them in the draft this year. They are not a force to be reckoned with. And obviously their defense is always going to be good with Aaron Donald on there. But I am like so surprised with how the Rams are right now. Yes, they are 8-7. It's a very like mediocre type of record, but I'm not sure that their record is really reflecting how good that team actually is and how we have to go into this game with a little bit of, obviously right now we're playing spoiler, but they're not a bad team. They're a very good team. It just kind of is a little bit of an off year for them in terms of the beginning of the season, but they've been looking good so far.
I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs, that's for sure. They're hot right now. And right now they're in the 6th seed. I believe, Sam, the stat is the 6th seed in the NFC has won the first round game the last 5 years over the 3 seed.
Really?
Yep. It was us last year, so they're in a similar spot. And I think part of it, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua going up against the Dory Jackson and Deontay Banks. I'm excited to see who Banks matches up against. If it's a rookie matchup with Puka, who, by the way, Sam, I don't know if you heard, Puka did not practice today. He has a hip injury, so he might be a game-time decision. So that could completely change things if it's just Cooper Kupp out there, and that could change the defensive game plan a little bit. So I'm a little interested to see what happens with Nakua's status and if he does play. But if he does play, over 1,300 receiving yards as a rookie, that's astronomically good.
Yeah. No, Puka Nacua, he came into this, first week, people were like, how do you say his name? And now everybody's just like, Puka! Like, he is so, first of all, he's fun to watch. Second of all, like, he just seems like a genuinely good person. But between him and Cooper Kupp, like, Kupp didn't, like, overwhelm the offense with, like, just going to him, Like, it's not like Stafford was like, I got to give Kupp the ball and only Kupp the ball. Like, he distributed that ball, and he did it so well, and is making a star out of Puka Nacua.
Did you see the TikTok of him cooking? I forget if it was Christmas Eve. Okay, yeah.
And then he ate the food over the stove because he said it was so good. He didn't even sit down.
Why waste time, right? Why waste time?
It's a smart man.
Yeah. Kyren Williams is another guy that I'm a little nervous about. I think the Giants have to focus on stuffing the run. Dexter Lawrence and A'Shawn Robinson up the middle. I'd like to say I partially claim Kyren Williams since he went to Notre Dame, but obviously I'm just a fan. Um, he's been really good this year. You know, they traded away Cam Akers to the Minnesota Vikings. Kyron's kind of stepped in for Darrell Henderson, and this is a fifth round rookie, which is why a lot of not rookie, sorry, second year guy, but this is part of the reason why a lot of Giants fans want to possibly explore moving on from Saquon. Although I think last week made it evident the Giants must keep him next season with all the question marks at quarterback. But Kyron's looked really good. 9 touchdowns, 1,000 yards, 5 yards per carry, and he's capable of catching passes too. So Bobby O, Micah McFadden, look out, Sam. I think this guy is very, very sneaky and might emerge as potentially one of the top backs in fantasy next year.
Yeah, Kyren Williams came in like it was like Cam Akers was like such a huge part of that team, and then all of a sudden Cam Akers was like nothing, and then Kyren Williams came in and stepped up and was just like, "All right, I'm seeing my shot here. Cam Akers isn't getting the job done. I'm gonna do it." And then obviously Cam Akers got traded away to the Vikings, I think, right? And Kyren has just been incredible, very under the radar type of running back in the way that people aren't talking like his efforts are there and they're noted, but like people aren't talking about Kyren Williams the same way they're talking about other running backs. So yeah, it's they have a lot of weapons on offense. It's pretty terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. Our defense has their hands full for sure.
We didn't even talk about Tyler Higbee. I mean, you mentioned him, but
Yeah.
he's a veteran. Demarcus Robinson in the slot, he's done really well the last few weeks. So yeah, it's safe to say I'm a little worried. But Sam, for you, how do the Giants win this game? What's the key for you specifically for Big Blue?
I think honestly, we have seen Tyrod Taylor now try and finish off a game this past Christmas, and then the Buffalo Bills game too also was within our fingertips. And again, missed calls, so on and so forth is what led that. We need to make sure that we give Tyrod the opportunity to win this game for us because I know he could do it. You know, get open, get down the field, get into the end zone. Tyrod is a talented quarterback. He can get the job done. He could do what he needs to do. I think our defense is pretty self-sufficient in the fact that they can take care of the offense. I know we just talked about all the reasons why the Rams offense is so good, but the Giants defense is capable of containing them. It's just we've talked about this every week, but with different quarterbacks here and there. But Tyrod Taylor is so capable of winning a game for us. We just need to give him that opportunity. So get open, beat your blockers, get into the end zone. Tyrod will get you the ball and no penalties and no missed calls, but we can't really control that.
Eagles had 9 penalties last week. We had 3. So the Giants, realistically speaking, very disciplined, I will say. But I'm looking at John Michael Schmitz. He has had, I hate to say this, he's kind of had a subpar rookie year. I know he was hurt, but I mean, granted, he's played on a terrible offensive line. Revolving door at right guard, left guard too with Pugh. Last couple of weeks, Pugh has not looked too great. Tyre Phillips at right tackle with Evan Neal. The only staple's been Andrew Thomas, and even he missed half the season. So, John Michael Schmitz, you're a rookie. Good luck. You have Aaron Donald this week. You have Aaron Donald. I mean, that's what it is, right? I mean, I'm sure Pugh will help him out, but I mean, Aaron Donald, 6 sacks on the year. I mean, again, he might not be as dominant as he once was, but he's still one of the best defensive tackles in the National Football League. And realistically, if the Giants are going to win this game, they have to establish the run. I don't want to see a million dropbacks from Tyrod. I don't want to see 40 passes in the game. I want to see Saquon with at least 20 carries and maybe a touchdown too would be nice. I want to see John Michael Schmitz not get dominated in this game by Aaron Donald because he got dominated by Fletcher Cox and Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter on Christmas Day in Philly, and it was not a good look. Not a good look.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but let's get into our players to watch, Sam. I know we've talked about multiple players already. It could be from anyone we aforementioned or anyone we haven't mentioned yet, who are 2 guys from the Rams and then 2 from the Giants. We're going to take a look at this week.
On the Rams side, I'm gonna throw Tyler Higbee in. I know we mentioned him very briefly, but he is a kind of secondary target for Matt Stafford, but behind Cooper and Puka. And it's just very obvious that we've gotten better at covering tight ends, though, I must say. But nonetheless, I think that Tyler Higbee is somebody to be keeping an eye out for. He's a big guy, he's a big target, and he could get down the field if need be. And obviously, we're going to be focusing our attention mostly on the wide receivers here. So I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on him. I'll throw Aaron Donald into the mix here because, yes, the offense is pretty star-studded, but Aaron Donald is the Rams defense. He is going to be the hardest person, like you were mentioning with John Michael Schmitz. It's not going to be an easy feat for them whatsoever. He is one of the greatest defensive players in the league, if not in all of time right now. He's fantastic. So definitely those two on the Rams. And on the Giants side, I'll go Tyrod here just because we haven't seen him in the mix starting a game since the injury. Obviously, we just saw him playing, but not starting or playing an entire game, which is something that I always am a little nervous about with Tyrod. He is very capable of getting hurt again. But I stand by the fact that I do think Tyrod could win a game for us if we needed him to. And another Giant here, I'll say Jalin Hyatt. I'll say Jalin Hyatt just because now, going off of your theory, Tom, Dable is going to be checking out these guys. He wants to see what he has, and with Tyrod in there, he could get the ball to Jalin Hyatt and maybe raise his stock a little bit more and make him a little bit more of a more certified wide receiver for this team that we will definitely need next year, and hopefully have a much smoother and better season next year with Jalin Hyatt.
That's a great pick. That's a great pick. I'm excited to see Hyatt too. For me on LA, little recency bias here, but Kyren Williams is phenomenal.
Yep.
Between the tackles back, he can cut outside, dominate on the stretch runs, and he has a solid offensive line that has been relatively healthy the second half of the season. That has alleviated pressure off Matthew Stafford. Stafford's touchdown total is up to 23 on the year. Part of the reason why Kyren Williams' play, helping set up the pass game, 5 yards per carry. You really love to see it. And Stafford, over 3,600 passing yards, almost 200 of those are to Kyren Williams. So he is not really a slouch in the passing game either. Defensively, for me, I mean, it's tough, but Ernest Jones is a really good linebacker for them who leads them in tackles. He's really good in pass coverage, which is not common for a guy his size. 4.5 sacks, 13 tackles for loss, and 6 passes defended to go with 132 tackles. A couple honorable mentions: Kobe Turner, the rookie out of Wake Forest, with 6.5 sacks, which you don't see from a defensive tackle. And then their third-round pick from this year, Byron Young from Alabama, 6 sacks as well, and Michael Hecht. Those three on that line complement Aaron Donald quite nicely. So I know I cheated a little bit there, but Giants, I mean, Saquon on offense, Sam. I mean, the Giants haven't scored many touchdowns this year, but Saquon has 8 total. If we score, it's coming from him. I want to see how he does with John Michael Schmitz matched up against Aaron Donald. And defensively, this might be an interesting one. I'm going with X. And with McKinney, huge potential to be a game-changing player, over 100 stops on the year. But McKinney, it's very possible these could be his last 2 games as a Giant. He is playing for a new contract next season. There has been 0 talks about a contract extension since they tried over the summer. So Joe Shane has made it clear he's going to wait until after the season, and I want to see how well McKinney plays in these final 2 games, because last year we saw Daniel Jones contract year, balled out. Saquon too, contract year, balled out. Dexter Lawrence, just to name a few. And now you have guys like Xavier McKinney that are due.
Mhm.
Andrew Thomas already got his 5-year mega contract extension and the 5th-year option. Our second round pick from 2020 is due up next to get paid. So let's see what happens with X. So those are my players to watch. Um, as far as injuries go, Sam, I don't think anyone is really at huge risk of missing this game. A lot of the limited guys earlier in the week practiced in full, but one thing to note, Dexter Lawrence, Ashawn Robinson, and Raheem Nunez-Roches all limited with 3 separate injuries. So I think if even one of them is out, it is slightly concerning. And I'd like to see more of Jordan Riley, our 7th-round pick out of Oregon. He's come on late in the season. I don't know if you got to watch him much on Christmas Day, but he played 35 snaps. He was solid.
Yeah. I think like whenever there's a player who we're not really talking about, but and like you're not really talking about him too much in the game, it's
Yeah.
because he's doing his job correctly. And it's like, we're talking so much about Evan Neal earlier in the season because he was doing so poorly at his job. Jordan Riley is not someone that we're bringing up every week, but that's because he was doing what he needed to do. And that's like, it's kind of like counterintuitive. It's like he's doing so well, yet we're not talking about it, but that's just because he's doing so well.
I agree. You pretty much hit the nail on the head there. I don't know about you, but one other thing I want to bring up before we get to game predictions, Sean McVay and the job he's done with this team. The Rams have not had a first-round draft pick in the last 5 years at least, and they're still super competitive. The Stafford trade, they've assembled their day 2 and day 3 picks. A lot of them are hits, and it's credit to Sean McVay, the GM, and the coaching staff of this team. And I'll be honest with you, Sam, if I'm Dallas or Philly, I'm really worried about the Rams. I'm really worried about the Rams potentially upsetting you in round number 1 if you wind up drawing them. That's why I really don't want Detroit or San Francisco to play them, so the Rams can knock one of those guys out.
Yeah.
But that's my final thoughts. Anything else on McVay or anything we discussed throughout the show before we predict the game?
I actually forgot about the whole first round draft pick thing with the Rams, but you're right. Yeah. They consistently are in the mix every single year, and it's just because Sean McVay is he just eats and sleeps and breathes football. It's like pretty incredible. But yeah, honestly, I think I'm interested to see what happens in this game. Again, I will stand by the fact that this is a winnable game, despite the kind of, high we were running with a couple of weeks ago during the DeVito era that only lasted a short while. But we'll see what happens, and who knows? Anything's possible.
So I told my girlfriend's cousin's now fiance, who is a Rams fan, on Christmas Day. This is after a few glasses of wine, saying the Rams will guaranteed win at least one playoff game this year because they are the 6th seed. And I think they will beat Dallas or Philly, whoever they play in the first round. And he just smiled and he's like, I mean, cheers to you. So I'm very high on this Rams team. So, Sam, we'll start with you. Who do you have winning this game and what's your final?
I do. I really genuinely think it could go either way, but I will go with the Rams here because they have more to lose. They want better spot, better playoff spot, so on and so forth. So I'm gonna go with the Rams here. I'm gonna say I know they're 6.5-point favorites. I'll go Rams 28-24. I think we're gonna keep it close.
All right, so you have the Rams winning but failing to cover.
Yeah.
I also have the Rams winning and failing to cover. My final score, 27-21. The line 6.5. They win by 6. Sorry, Rams bettors. Don't bet that spread, 6.5. I think with Tyrod in the game, Sam, DeVito should be starting in my opinion, but Tyrod gives them the best chance to win this game currently. He's a seasoned vet, 13 years in the league. He knows what he's doing. I think they'll get Hyatt and Waller involved. I mean, Waller's back healthy, right? And this Giants team, in my opinion, yes, we know what Bill Parcells once said, your record says who you are, but I truly think the Giants have more talent than what a 5-10 team should have. So I have the Rams winning by 6, 27-21, and I'm not so sure the Giants won't win a game again this season, just preluding to possibly next week.
Yeah.
So just saying. Want to wish all the fans a happy new year. It's from Sam and myself. Sam, it's been a fun year, 2023. We kind of closed the book on it. We had some good laughs, good memories, a playoff run last year, and was very excited to, host the show again with you this season. I know we still have 1 week left, but with 2023 ending, I want to say thank you for everything throughout this year. Thank you to the fans as well. Sam, I'll turn the floor to you here. Anything you want to tell our viewers and listeners before we sign off?
Well, I mean, people constantly come back. We have some year-long loyal listeners, so shout out to them. Shout out to you, Tom, for being a great co-host, putting a great show together every week. I'm just happy to be a part of it. Happy to chat Giants with you. And here's to a great and better 2024 for us and for the New York Giants.
Absolutely. Sam said it best. Folks, if you like what you watch from Sam and myself, want to catch more in 2024, make sure to check us out on our social platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Best places to find us right now, Big Blue Avenue. We may expand a little bit next year. We'll definitely have some good stuff in store for the upcoming year, so stay tuned for that. For the last time in 2023, on behalf of Sam Cardona, I'm Tom Scavetta saying so long. You've been watching Big Blue Avenue here on YouTube and Facebook. Without further ado, let's go Big Blue.